I swear to God, I put myself under the bus instead of them. I wasn't even pushed out. I left. There's a fucking pedophile involved too, bro.
This is not like, you know who I am, you know the type of person I am. I am not what you called me.
Did say, yeah, she was 17, the other one was watching.
Yeah, he talked about New York, 17, law,
Yes. And I go to this club that's 21 plus, and I end up going back with these girls. I slept with one of them, and I found out after that this girl was 17.
I would not have treated it the same way if you said you didn't know, because that changes everything. You never said that, not once. Literally not fucking once. This is news to me that you didn't know, okay?
Oh my god, this drama is just unhinged. I can't even lie. Good afternoon, everyone. Today's video, for my weekly commentary dose, I want to cover the insane story going on between Faze Rain, Faze Banks, and Faze Temper. Which, by the way, quick TLDR, I think I'm going to be joining Rain's side for this story, because I think he looks the best and the most reliable between the two others. Banks, who seems to be a liar in the story, and Temper, the most bizarre freak I've seen in quite a while. Anyway, right, to set up the actual story by itself, recently in a stream that Reigns was doing, he felt a bit unbridled about him falling out between the Faze clan, and he seemed to be a bit emotional about why he left and how he was angry about it. But there was one detail he revealed that made the whole story of why he left, who he was talking to. He made them seem very dodgy, calling them a pedo, a nonce. Let me just play the clip real quick.
By being fucked over by my homies, that I threw, this is the craziest part, bro. I threw myself under the bus instead of them. I swear to God, I put myself under the bus instead of them.
And, by this part by itself, it sounds like, a cliche, a very atypical, like, a statement, about, like, why they left the friend group, the clan. Oh, I was scammed by the people, they fucked me over. But it gets worse. Just hear it out.
I wasn't even pushed out. I left. There's a fucking pedophile involved too, bro. I don't give a fuck if I get sued. I could give a fuck less. I always stand up for what's right. That was the final straw, bro. That was the final fucking straw. And when I said, bro, not only did you guys fucking air me out, y'all motherfuckers sold me out, y'all fucking scammed me behind my back. And honestly, I just had an epiphany about it because I'm like, bro, not even covered about it. I was just so sad about it for so long. I've been fucked up over that pedo shit for like 2 years, bro.
Holy shit. Right, so that was the actual bit. Like, I think if it didn't say that part, this drama wouldn't even broken out. Because this is the first time in quite a while. Sorry, I'm saying quite a while. This is the first time in Faze clan history, I believe, that's, a pedo within the group is being brought up. There you go. So what happened after? Well, the ex-CEO of Faze clan, Banks, made a video on Twitter, nearly 10 minutes long, be like, yo, Rain, he's being fucking crazy, he's calling people a pedo, he's acting wild.
First thing I'm going to say in this video is I'm not a pedophile. Rain is not talking about me. There, I got it out. Video over, peace out. No.
I don't know why I opened the video being like, guys, Faze Rain, he's talking about the pedo, it's not me, I swear. We have like several members in the Faze clan. Why would people automatically believe that was him? I mean, like, maybe a very niche group of people, but they're idiots. Like, why would they believe it was him, first of all? And from what I saw as well, not a single clip insinuated that it would be Banks. Nothing at all, whatever. And anyway, this explanation is very long, but what he said essentially, the actual key parts, it was all summarized right here on the reply. I think he knew, that this video was very, it's very hard to digest. So he summarized it very easily, saying, the Faze member Rain is referring to in that clip is Tommy, aka Faze Temper, that's his nickname, whatever. I know it because of a phone call we had between myself, Tommy, Apex, and Rain. To be clear, Tommy denied any wrongdoing and no conclusion came during that call. This all stemmed from a conversation that Nord and Tommy had between themselves, one-on-one, years prior. And it seems that the story that I could find was that the way Rain described, that him and Temper had a phone call, they were having a conversation a while back, and Temper revealed how he had a threesome with some girls in New York, where 2 of them were 16. they were quite young. I'm not sure if that's underage in New York, you know, where they were having the threesome. However, during that time, I'm pretty sure he was in his late 20s, 28, 27. I've seen that number thrown around. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but if it's between, you know, his mid 20s and late 20s, he's quite, you know, a bit old to be mingling, you know, with girls that young in a threesome. So that was sort by itself. But Banks is painting the picture that, you know, this allegation that, you know, that Temper told a story to Rain, it made it seem like, you know, Rain and Temper, you know, they talked about on a call with, you know, Apex and Banks, and they came to no conclusion. No clear story was reached. You know, it was indecisive. Therefore, you know, when that happened, Banks, you know, had a good reason to not do anything, because they came to no good conclusion. However, this part of the story where I feared the worst. I feared that Banks, you know, was lying to save his own ass, to make himself, you know, seem reasonable for why he didn't do anything. And you're gonna see in one quick second. However, Temper's initial response to this was a very short statement. And FYI, you know, TLDR, this is like the worst statement you could make ever, where you don't respond to the story, you don't respond to the allegation, you know, you sympathy bait in your entire response. Like, watch this real quick.
It's so mind-blowing that someone that I really built a brotherhood with, someone that I really considered a brother, that I invited to my baby shower, that I always looked after and took care, and then when you were going through your darkest days, I was there for you, and I was making sure that you were good.
And bro, I'm not kidding, this entire video is just like that. Bro, how could Rain, my brother, my old friend, my old buddy, how could he backstab me like that? But if you want to watch the whole clip, you know, go find his Twitter. Actually, go find it right now. He might take it down soon, because as you'll see later, Temple looks pretty bad in his entire story. But anyway, right, in that video, essentially, you know, he was sympathy baiting, and he was just saying, no, the allegation of me being a pedo and me telling the story to Rain, and it ever happening, that's not true. That's bullshit. Don't trust Rain. However, you know, when both those videos came out, when both responses from Banks and Temper came out, Rain watched on stream, and he was livid at how much they were lying. And this was the interaction that Banks and Rain had on stream, where, oh my god, dude, again, I feel the worst. Banks went from being like, you know, guys, there was no actual conclusion reached. He went from that to being like, okay, Temper did concede that there was a young girl there in the threesome, that he hooked up with a young girl. I think the age then, it went from 16 to 17. You see those two numbers being, you know, mixed around. But either way, right, you know, 16, 17, 6, 7, they're both very young ages that older men shouldn't be hooking up with, especially.
Could possibly know what you guys said.
The
only two people that could possibly know what you guys said in that call to each other are you and Tommy.
Yeah.
Obviously. It's like, again.
No, but he did admit it in the call with us four. He did. He did say, yeah, she was 17, the other one was watching.
Bro, keep an eye on Banks' face. Like, this is the face of a guy who's had a drama going on for quite a while, you know, in the back of his mind, and now it's all coming, let me zoom in real quick, it's all coming crashing down live on stream. He has no idea how to respond.
Yeah. He talked about New York, 17, law.
Yes.
I don't.
Yeah, you called me after and you said.
I just remember you guys arguing back and forth, and I just remember it being fucking crazy.
Yeah, I think that's the worst. From somebody who was a CEO in a big organization like Faze Clan, I think this is one of the worst responses ever. Where initially, you know, you make it seem like you're innocent, and we're like, you know, oh, I couldn't take any executive actions, but now you're conceding heavily by being like, okay, I will admit there were some suspicious details, but even then, he didn't do anything at all. Bro, that's wild. And bro, I hate that part as well. Go back a second. I hate that last section as well, being like, bro, okay, can I be honest? Bro, it was just fucking crazy. I had no idea what was going on.
I just remember you guys arguing back and forth, and I just remember it being fucking crazy.
Bro, it's fucking crazy. Bro, I had no idea what was going on. If you're a CEO of a company like Faze Clan, and some shit's going on where one person is alleging somebody else for being a pedo, or, you know, doing some suspicious shit, and they concede to it, how the fuck are you not doing anything? Like, what the hell, dude? Oh my god. Anywho, right after that part, Temper Oh my god, dude. This is why I can't trust Temper in his story. Temper made another clip where, again, he started by sympathizing, but then he cleared up the story of what happened in New York even more, and how he did technically hook up with a 17-year-old while there.
Soon after that, I was just that lost soul again, going to parties, partying, and just being a fool. And then one day I go to New York, and I go to this club that's 21 plus, and I link up with a buddy there.
Now keep that in mind. That's like a really good saving grace. He went to a club that was 21 plus. Okay, maybe he hooked up with a girl that he didn't know was under 21, because it's a club. It's very unlikely that they could get past with a fake ID. Maybe, but anywho.
And he invites a couple girls, and I end up going back with these girls. We're all shit-faced, and I end up going back with these girls to my hotel room. I slept with one of them, and I found out after that this girl was 17. And that's the age of consent in New York, but
I'm sorry, even that part is suspicious. I found out one of them is 17, which, by the way, is the age of consent in New York. I say in this video, I want to make it very clear. I'm not gonna argue that that Temper should be arrested or not, because I'm not a fucking lawyer. I'm not gonna play smart in this video. However, I will argue the moral side of how bizarre it is that he was hooking up with much younger people. Because you'll see in a second, right, how that part about him not knowing that she was 17 could have been a lie, or it could have been, made up, whatever. You'll see in a second. But yeah, that was it, right? So that was the clip that went out, and it seemed, to save some grace until Rain responded to it right after on Twitter, where he was like, "You're just lying about this part." Because again, this story that Temper told to Rain, it was told to him multiple times before in the past. And Rain brings up a very good point that oh, if you had no idea they were 17, then why'd you not tell us before in the past?
That changes everything. I'm going to say about the Tommy situation, because he made a video confirming it, but the details did get switched a little bit, because originally it was two 16-year-olds and it was a 17-year-old and one was watching, and now a 17-year-old and he didn't know her age. If you didn't know her age and you said that to us at least once, we wouldn't be here, bro. I would not have treated it the same way if you said you didn't know, because that changes everything. You never said that, not once.
I agree. Bro, I'm sorry. I think that's so goddamn true. I don't think Rain would have exposed his old friend Temper if, he told him before, yeah, I had no idea, I had the wool pull over my eyes. I think that would save him so much. But this was brought up with Rain and with the CEO of his own company, Faze Banks, and at no point did he bring that up, that he had no idea about her age. That's fucking wild. And bro, the one time that he talks about this, that he had no idea about her age, he brings it up in a fucking response video, in his second response. Like, his back was pushed against the wall after, Rain exposed Banks as lying. He put up that one tiny detail that saved him so much at the last minute, to save himself as much as possible. I'm sorry, I don't trust Temper. That first response, he was sympathy baiting, and now this second time, he's bringing up a detail that just makes no sense. That seems, a bit too forced. It's hard to believe, to be honest. And now, the last 2 seconds we have right now in this video was but this part makes no sense. We have this clip from Rain's Twitter, which was now archived by Temper. Well, essentially, he talked about how he called Temper's wife, and she was crying to him for 4 hours, because now her husband is being exposed. Let me just play it.
How much these? So I just got off a 4-hour call with Emma, which is Tommy's wife and the mother of his child, and she was so cool, so rational, so understanding. She was just, pouring her heart out to me, venting and talking about how this has affected her life, And that's what a lot of people tend to forget, is how much these.
And later on, he's gonna apologize for calling Temper a pedophile.
Things affect people's real lives. I know it's just Twitter to you guys. You're just weighing in on an opinion. You type some shit, you move on, you type some other shit on a different thing. But it really does affect these people's lives, bro, especially when it's something this sensitive, So please keep that in mind. But I do want to say this. I want to first and foremost retract the statement that I called him a pedophile.
because that wasn't fair to do. By the way, I wiped my fucking camera. I don't know what the fuck is still happening. Okay? I wiped my fucking.
Yeah, I don't care about your camera. So I think what happened was that Rain called Temper's wife, or vice versa, whatever, and he felt really bad for causing all the stress to her. Because again, her husband is being heavily exposed on Twitter, just making him look really bad. I think this was like a small moment of weakness where Rain just felt way too bad. So he did concede that he apologized for calling Temper a pedophile for two reasons. For he felt bad for his wife, obviously, but also he doesn't believe that Temper is like a diehard pedophile where he's going after kids. It was one instance that he fucked up severely, and he wants to apologize for that. That's it. But then Temper took this clip to make it seem like he won, like he's innocent, where he said, "I'm glad we can agree I don't deserve his label. Thanks for the apology, I guess. Thanks for ruining my life." And real quick, let me show them real quick. Give me 1 second. If you try to find this clip, from Rain on his own Twitter account, you won't find it. Because the second he saw this, he was livid. You fucked that kid and had no remorse. Why I haven't talked to you since? You said you're a threesome with two 16-year-olds, then said it was only a 17-year-old, and you said it to sound cool. There's someone who feels disgusted, think it's cool to drop the age, and a victim to sound cool. You're an actual piece of shit. I only posted this because your wife called me crying for 4 hours, begging me to. I offered to pay your bills for you because I felt full with you losing your 20k from Faze. Bro, this was insane. Tell the whole truth while you're at it, including Bianca and the family's lives you almost took drunk driving. Go on, or I'll do it for you. Bro, what was that part about? Him taking someone's life while drunk driving. What the fuck, dude? Okay, that's a separate story for another day. Anyway, let's go over everything so far. So again, if there's one person I trust so far the most, it has to be Rain. He's the one guy that's kept the story consistent. The one part you can blame him for was keeping the story to himself. He told it to Banks, but Banks was being an idiot. I mean, bro, I love that guy. Peace and love to him. But like, as a CEO, back when that happened, he didn't do anything at all. He fucked up so bad. He had the easiest dunk, just like firing him, whatever, and he just avoided it because that was his friend, and it sounds too crazy. Even though if you were like an actual proper CEO and you had to go like HR department, all red flags would have been right there. I'm not saying they should have called the police because again, like, I'm not sure if it's legal or what. I mean, the age you can say 17, whatever. But like, bro, all the red flags for a dangerous character were right there, and he should have been kicked out of Faze Clan right then and there, in my opinion. And last of all, right, Temper. I'm not sure like how old he was back then. However, right, I will admit in this video that he was just a very bizarre liar who kept on changing everything day in, day out, non-stop. Like, he changed every part of the story to benefit himself. He kept some part obstructed in the first response, and then he twisted some parts later on in the second response to save himself. If the story keeps on evolving and Temper makes like a third response to make himself look better, I'm not gonna trust him at all. Holy fuck. Also, wait, one last thing. I've seen people say that this might be the end of the Faze Clan. I don't really believe so. I think people like Banks and Temper will take a huge hit to their credibility. I mean, Temper, he already admitted to it. His career is down the drain. Banks, this is like an embarrassing drama where he looks really, really dumb. I think the actual like big players like Lazy, Marlon, Jason, Ron, all the actual big streamers still in the Faze Clan, I don't think they're gonna be affected. But like, bro, I'm sorry. People like Banks, he's acting so dumb. But even worse of all, Temper, people should not trust him at all, ever. Cause what the fuck is wrong with him? Holy shit.
¿Te gusta ver vídeos divertidos de Azul?